Assalamu alaikum, guys, and welcome once again to EKTV Live. I'm back. Yeah, it's me, Khalil Mohammed. I'm back, and today we're going to carry on from what we did on Monday. If you were with us on Monday, you'll know that we did the biography of a very, very famous individual who goes by the name of Sheikh Ahmed Deedat. And in case you didn't know who he was, you could say, the first person to really take dawah to that international level. His work was amazing and he affected so many people to the point where his legacy is even felt today. So I thought what we do, we're going to carry all that information over in a sense and we're going to draw him. Oh, it's going to be exciting, right? So we're going to draw Sheikh Ahmed Deedat today. Now, just in case you've not seen a picture of Sheikh Ahmed Deedat, if we go to my board right now, I'll show you a picture of him. I've got a picture of him right here in front of me on my drawing tablet. Okay, I don't want you to see that lot over there. No, don't see that one. That's something else coming up sometime later. This is Sheikh Ahmed Deedat. So this is what I'm going to draw today. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that there's some lines all over his face. What's that about, Khalil? What's going on? Well, I'm going to show you how to draw. You see, I want to teach you the skill of drawing. Now, most people believe that they can't draw. They've done a few things perhaps and it's come out really badly and they're thinking to themselves, oh, I'm so rubbish at it. But I am of the opinion that anyone can learn to draw if they have the correct teacher, the correct technique. It's like anything. Sometimes you try something that way, it doesn't go. You try it this way, it doesn't go. But if you try it that way, it might go. It's all depending on how you structure the art. What do I mean? Right, as I said, this picture is a picture of Sheikh Ahmed Deedat. Let's look at it again. Right, you can see here those lines. These are called grid lines, okay? Those of you who are maybe a bit more arty, maybe you're familiar with this particular technique, but these lines here will enable us to tell where each part of his body is: his eyebrows, his ears, the bottom of his ears near that line there, his mouth just above that line, the corner of his eye just on that line there, his scarf going from that line all the way down over to this space here. So everything is set out in that grid fashion so that you can use it as reference. Now, I've divided this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts, but I could have put more lines in here. I could have put more lines in here. When I was younger, we used to put so many lines on there. The more lines you have, the more accurate it will be. But for now, just to make it quite easy, especially for those of you who are not used to doing this sort of thing, I'm going to take it nice and slow, right? I'm going to put that to one side because that's what we're going to be copying. Let me just shift that to one side. I still want you to be able to see what I'm going to draw while I draw it. Let's allow me to pop my glasses on. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I've got some regular pencil. This is not a special pencil by any means. It's just it's a HB regular pencil that you get anywhere. So what I'm going to I'm going to draw that grid. Now, it doesn't have to be the same size that I'm going to recreate it here, as long as it's similar proportions. So I'm going to do it like this. In fact, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, like this. Now, you can see that I am drawing that pencil line. Hopefully, you can see it. I might have to make it a little bit darker for you guys. Okay, there you go. I'm making it quite much smaller than our original picture. That's okay. Then what I'm going to do, in the same way that this picture has been divided up with a straight line down the middle, I'm going to put a straight line down the middle here. So we're going to figure out where the center point is, about there somewhere, and draw a line way down like that. We're going to find where this center point is. We're going to go from here to here and find the center, from here to here, and find the center. It's about there. Now, you'll notice that I'm not using a ruler. I'm going to find the middle of here as well. I'm not using a ruler, and I advise you guys not to use a ruler either. Why, Khalil? It's so hard. I can't draw straight lines. Don't worry about it. It's just practice. All you have to do is make sure you practice, practice, practice. See, I can do my lines fairly straight quite easily because I've been drawing for yonks and yonks and yonks and yonks. Okay, but it's about practice and getting your hand to have that muscle memory where you're using your wrist, using your fingers. All of these things will come in handy when you want to draw something. So if you use a ruler, you are depriving yourself from that particular lesson. Okay, so use your free hand like this to knock in that shape. Now this shape is roughly the proportion of our original. It's a little bit smaller, but it's roughly the same kind of proportion top-wise, height-wise, and width-wise. And that's all we need for now. Right, so what I'm going to do, we're going to start with this side of his face. I would say between here and here, let me just move this over a little bit. Let's move everything over here like this, right? From here to here, I'm going to say the halfway point is about there. It's about there. And his eye starts just over here somewhere. So we're going to just take that line up. It doesn't quite touch the top of the page, of the grid. And it kind of goes back like that, okay? My lines are going to have to be quite dark so the camera can pick it up. And then I'm going to bring this down. Here you can see it goes under that line. Not the last line, the second to last box. That box here, which is this box here, and that box there, they correspond. And I'm going to bring it round and back up again like that. And then his beard kind of goes here, and his ear is over ear. Something like that. His ear is over ear like that. Okay. Now, I advise you guys, when you're drawing things like this as well, I have to rush because obviously time is not always our friend when we're doing these things live as well. But I'm rushing, but I want you to take your time. Whatever you decide to draw, just take your sweet time. Also, my technique is to incorporate basic shapes. Now, put the camera on me because I want them to see while I explain basic shapes to them. Basic shapes is just a technique of looking at an object and figuring out what its basic shape is. Like the basic shape of an egg is a circle, obviously, right? It's a circle, right? The basic shape of a car is an oblong, isn't it? It's an oblong? Is an oblong one of those weird shapes like that? Yeah, it's one of those shapes like that. And the car fits inside, okay? Let's go back to our picture. And I'll show you, I've just basically done an egg shape for his head. And a kind of egg shape for his ear. I'm not putting any detail in at this point at all, okay? Details will come a little bit later. Let's just worry about where things are on the grid first. So his ear comes down, his neck comes down here, and it literally, look, almost touches that point there, which is going to be this point here. It's just a little bit left of it, so we're going to bring that line over. Maybe I've got it too much there. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I made so many mistakes. Normally in my lessons for art, I don't allow people to use erasers. But in this occasion, I'm going to. And I'm going to just rub out the mistakes that I've done here. Now, because this is live, guys, those of you who might be watching on YouTube later on, this is live. You're going to see all the mistakes I make, okay? And that is good. I'm never going to hide anything from you guys. If I make a mistake, then I make a mistake. But the point is not to get despondent, not to lose your heart and just throw it in the bin and just chuck it away. Oh, I can't draw. Okay, keep going and keep going. Now, another thing I want to show you guys is that sometimes this particular rubber is quite well behaved. Okay? But sometimes you get those flakes on, if you use the rubber, you get flakes. Always use a tissue to brush the flakes away, okay? Never rub it with your hand because you'll smear the picture and it will look terrible. Right, so let's continue where we left off, okay? Right then, so we've got the grid. We're doing basic shapes. We're just going to position his head in that grid first, okay? Now, guys and gals, boys and girls, mans and manzesses, munchkins and munchkinettes out there, this is a technique that if you follow, I promise you, you will be a better artist, okay? But you have to follow the technique. Otherwise, it won't work. And getting frustrated and ripping up your piece of paper that you're drawing with is not going to cut it either, okay? You have to have patience with yourself. You have to be able to be a bit more patient with the process. The process is what we're trying to teach you. Me drawing Amadida is interesting because it goes in line with what we talked about on Monday. But ultimately, it's not what we draw, it's how we draw it. All the techniques I'm going to try and show you during this particular session and the next one or two in the next coming weeks is going to be about technique. It's about technique. It's not about, oh, we picked a nice picture, okay? I want to teach you guys something. So you go away from the show learning something, okay? Learning something, okay? And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes the pictures don't come out that great. It's true. It's true. But that is the point of what I'm trying to tell you. You mustn't become despondent. You mustn't become disencouraged by the fact that you are still trying to learn, and it takes a while to get there. When I was teaching in Milton Keynes, there was this young kid. He was a brilliant artist. Brilliant artist. And I remember getting ready for his exams. We're not going to draw the eyes. We're just going to do the oval for the eyes. He was a brilliant artist. And every time he did a piece of artwork, he'd screw it up and throw it in the bin because he didn't have confidence in his own ability. So I tried to tell him over and over again, be patient with yourself, take it easy, you're doing well. I'm telling you, I've been drawing for 40 years, and he didn't believe me. So that confidence that I'm trying to instill in you guys, that ability to be patient with yourself, it's very important that you develop that at this stage. I know it's so tempting. The minute something goes wrong, you want to chuck it all away. I have been there. Trust me, we all have. We all have been there, inshallah. Right, what I want to do while I'm doing this, you can see I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to get all the bits in the right place as well. While I'm doing this, guys, I expect to see some of your artwork. Now, you don't have to draw Ahmadiyya if you don't want to. You can draw whatever you like, okay? Whatever grabs your fancy. Me, my passion, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not going to lie, though, right? I love superheroes. I grew up, can I put the camera on me? Because this is me pouring my heart out now. I love superheroes. I always have loved superheroes. Since my brothers came over from Jamaica, they absolutely infested me with the love of Marvel Comics, right? So, guys, if you see something that you want to draw yourself, okay, we want you to take a photo of it, okay, write, or something you maybe drawn before. Yeah, something you drew before. Maybe it's in color, maybe it's in black and white, maybe it's pencil, whatever the case is. Maybe it's something you made. Right? Take a photo of it and send it to us on this number here, this WhatsApp number. We would love to see your work, right? I want to see it. Well, I want to see what kind of skill is it out there, because I know that there's skill out there. I know you guys have got skills, okay? So why hide your skills under a bushel? Why? So it doesn't make any sense, right? If you've got that skill, I want to say it, right? So you see the WhatsApp number down below. Take a photo of it. Find a nice, well-lit place. Like I got my phone, right? Take a nice picture of it like this, right? And send it on that WhatsApp number right now. Right, let's get back to our picture, shall we? Well, I get my old glasses on. Right, because I am rushing this picture, as I said, time is always against us when we're doing it live. I have definitely made a few mistakes. But I'm hoping, once again, it's not about what I'm drawing, it's about the technique that we're using. This grid system is such a time saver, because without the grid system, you're trying to figure out where does the head go, where does the nose go, where does the eyes go, where does the ear go, and it can be very difficult. The grid system allows you to map out where things are. As I said, the bottom of his, see, as I look at it now, I think his beard is too far down. It should be up here somewhere. Oh, Khalil, what you're doing. I'm being honest, right? So this line can go for one. Okay, I'm using a putty rubber, okay? This is a putty rubber. It's very malleable, but I like these ones because sometimes you want to get into a little nook and cranny somewhere, and this little point, if I hold it over, you can see that. That little point, I can use it just to do some fine erasing, okay? It's very nice. It's very cool. I like these putty rubbers. And if you want to do a big area, or if you want to just dab something, you can dab it like this. If you don't want to rub something off, you want to just kind of recede it back, you can use the flat end of it to dab it back. It's really cool. Not that kind of dab like the sportsman, not that kind of dab. The dab, the way I'm dabbing it away, like as if I'm mopping up some tea that spilled on the table at home or something like that. Right, so I'm putting his neck back in, putting his shadow in. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the stuff behind him. It's obviously in an auditorium somewhere, giving dawah. There you go, right? So, again, it's not about what I'm drawing. It's about how I'm drawing it. And even as I look at it now, you could probably detect, Khalil, that part is out a bit. His head looks a bit funny, innit? Maybe I think his head, let's get rid of this. And if there's any flakes after you've done the rubbing, use a piece of tissue doesn't have to be blue, and just brush it away like this, okay? Don't use your hand to do that. Trying to get into good practice. His head, I think, should be a bit more up like this, a bit more, a little bit too flat. Maybe a bit more like that. Somewhat like that. And I think his cheekbone is sticking out way too much there. Yeah. Now, as I said, I'm using a HB pencil. I do have other pencils. I do have a HB pencil, and I do have a 2B. To be or not to be, that's what I'm going to be using. Now, this is going to be another trick, a little tip I want you guys to utilize while you're drawing. I'm using a scrap piece of paper. Why? Because when you're drawing things, especially when you're using this kind of grade of pencil, your hand's going to smudge it, okay? So use a piece of paper just to mask it. And if once you've decided, yeah, I've got everything roughly in the proportion, I think everything is where it needs to be, then you can start increasing your lines. You can start making them darker and thicker. And then you can start talking about shading things in here and there, bits and pieces under his neck as well. But as I said, I am rushing because of time. Time is always against me, but I want you guys to take your time. Remember, it's not about getting pictures done quickly. It's about getting them done well, okay? I'm not interested in getting something done well, and it doesn't look all that, okay? If it looks good, great. And it took a short time, great. But really and truly, it is something you should be building up towards, inshallah, trying to perfect your skill. As I said at the beginning of the show, you know, my opinion is that anyone can learn to draw. You just have to find the right technique, that's all. Once you find the right technique, maybe even this grid system might not work for you. But I have seen kids that can't draw, that once I've showed them a few things, they've been able to draw some pretty awesome stuff, okay? It's just about confidence. It's about believing in yourself. It's about having a go. And having a go sometimes is the most difficult thing to do, because if you're not drawing, if you have drawn before and you've had a few failures, your confidence might have been knocked somewhat, and you might not feel that confident in doing it. So it's easy to fall back into that kind of, I'm so rubbish at drawing, I couldn't even draw a straight line, whatever, right? It's easy to fall back into that kind of mindset. But I am here to start you afresh, inshallah. Okay, I'm going to put some of these lines in on his scarf. Okay, we've got a little time before we go for a break. So I'm putting these lines in on his scarf, but I'm not even looking at the picture. Sometimes when you're drawing something, like his nose, you and I, we know what a nose looks like. So sometimes as we're drawing it, we're drawing what we think a nose looks like instead of looking at the picture of what his nose looks like. So I've kind of started to do that as well. So I'm going to try and make that nose a little bit closer to what he actually has on the picture here. Okay, kind of difficult because some of these lines, this picture, all of Amadidat's videos were done in the 80s, and the technology wasn't as great as it is now. So some of the photos that we see of him are poor quality, and unfortunately this one is not greatly detailed, but it doesn't matter, okay? Remember, you also are drawing in order to express yourself. We don't want to be a photocopy machine, okay? Once you've learned this technique, you will be able to inject your own style, inshallah. Right, we're going to go for a quick break, guys and gals. Come to moi. As I said before, guys, if you've got a piece of artwork that you've already done, I don't know, maybe school, for homework or whatever, and you're quite proud of it, and you want us to see it, you can send it on that WhatsApp number down here somewhere. Send it right now. Maybe if we've got time after the show, we can show it. It is near. But anyway, guys, when we get back, we're going to finish this up. I don't know how, but we're going to finish it up. See you after the break, guys. So stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum, my friends. Welcome back to EKTV Live with me, Khalil Mohammed. We are drawing today. We are following on from what we did on Monday, where we talked about the legendary Sheikh Ahmed Deedat, mashallah. Looked at his life, looked at his beginnings, his roots, his inspiration, and his achievements. And unfortunately, of course, we all have to pass away, his death as well. Right, so what we're doing, we're actually drawing him today. And we have gone through a number of techniques. Let me just refresh you what those techniques were. We're using the grid system, okay? The grid system is an easy way to figure out the proportion of any given item. If you're drawing a horse, or a dinosaur, or a castle, or in this case, we're drawing Sheikh Ahmed Deedat. We're using the grid system in order to get the proportions in the right place. We are also using our free hand to draw the grid, okay? We're not going to use any rulers, okay? Rulers, I was going to say erasers as well. Normally I ban erasers, but I'm going to let you guys off. The rulers should not be used when you're drawing your grid, okay? I'm going to show you the grid in a minute, but hold tight. Right, let me just explain this first, okay? When you draw the grid, use your free hand. Do not use a ruler or the side of the bed or your boot or something, right? No straight edges when you do your grid system. Secondly, when you start off, and this is the thing with some people sometimes, this is why people, they have to find the right technique. When you start drawing, make sure that you start with some, oh, what's happening? Make sure you start with light strokes of the pencil. Where's my pencil? Light strokes of the pencil. Don't go, okay? Some people, they see a picture and they think it's really cool. I want to draw that, so they start drawing it straight away. I know it's tempting to try and draw that picture, that thing you like so quickly and so amazingly. But my advice to you is to take your time, use the grid system, make sure you're using light strokes. When I show you what I've done so far, for those of you who have just joined us, I'm covering us in case the boys in the back room put it on, right? Start with those lines, okay? When you see, you can see my one is quite hard and it's quite dark because I have to do it quickly, but it's about showing you how to use a grid technique, how to use basic shapes, which is something else we need to go on as well. Always look at an item, what you're going to draw, and figure out where its basic shapes are. Look at my eyes. Woo! Try and figure out the basic shapes. Like, for example, obviously my phone, the basic shape of that is a triangle, right? The basic shape of this pencil is like, not triangle. Did I say triangle? Rectangle. I'm losing my mind over here, losing my mind, right? So that's like here, you see that basic shape? Is a triangle upside down. Look for basic shapes on the item that you're trying to draw. Right now, guys, brace yourselves. I'm going to get the boys in the back room to look at the picture I've done so far. Okay, so if you're not sitting down right now, sit down, because I'm about to show you what I did. Okay, boys, can we see what's on my drawing tablet now? Right, there it is. Right, I have very quickly, in the first, 18 minutes of the show, drawn that particular picture in there, okay? And I've already started using my, no, not HB, I've got a thicker pencil here, 2B pencil, to start knocking some of the lines that I think I'm kind of happy with so far, okay? But I am, again, I can't emphasize this enough. I don't want you guys to say, oh, well, Khalil Mohammed's doing it quick, so I'm going to draw it quick as well, because I want to draw a nice picture. No, don't say that, okay? I'm only doing it because I have to, okay? But I want you guys to sit back, take your time, relax. Another technique, another thing, could you put it on me, guys? Put it on my face, please. On my face. Quick, 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 quick. I want to talk to them to their face. Right. Another thing, when you've got a picture, like we've got the picture of Ahmed Deedat, right? Look at it. I say that looking at a picture should be 60% of the work. Yeah, what? Yeah, looking at it is 60% of the work, and the rest of the 40% is actually drawing it. Because sometimes you have to look at something. Yeah, see how the curves are, see how the shading is, especially if you've got it on that grid system we're talking about. Look at it. Where does that go in proportion to that? Are the eyes level? Is the ear near this part of his shoulder? Look at it, because you take that information in and then begin to draw it, okay? A lot of people, they don't start drawing it straight away, start hammering away at it. Don't do that. Take your time. Remember, art is an art. That's the only way I can say it. Art is an art, and it means you must take your time. Right, guys, because we've only got 1 minute left, I am glad to say that I have already done the picture of Sheikh Hamadidat already. So boys in the back room, can we have a look at my drawing tablet, please? And I've done one already. There is one I did earlier because I knew I wouldn't be able to finish the entire thing in the half an hour that we've got for this show. Here you can see I've decided to put in a little bit of shading. Again, our lights are a little bit too heavy for this particular picture, but I've decided to put some shading in here and there. I've even rubbed off the grid lines that I've got on my first one here. Yeah, you can just about see those lines. But I've decided to put some shading in under his neck, on his scarf and bits and pieces. So you can see I've started to put those in here and there. Right, guys, remember, I want you to send in some of your artwork. You've got that WhatsApp number right here, okay? If it's something you've already done, it doesn't have to be Sheikh Ahmadiyya, but I will give you a challenge if you want one. Okay, Ahmadiyya was known for his dawah. How would you interpret the word dawah? If you were to draw it, what would it represent to you? I'm thinking about that now. That's a good question, actually. Right? Whatever the case is, you don't have to do that challenge. But if you want to, I would love to see your artwork. Remember, take a nice picture of it, find somewhere well lit, and take a nice picture of it, and put your name and all the rest of it. Let's learn a bit about you. Until then, my friends, I'll speak to you on Friday, inshallah. Take care of yourself. Happy drawing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to finish it off. EKTV.